Welcome to Sunny Side Up Podcast. I'm your host, David. This is my brother, Andrew. Today we're going to talk about productivity. That was my first episode.
Now you see now, you know, fucked up, you know that, don't you?
So we're just going to start off with a rapid fire Q&A just to get us started. So what time of day are you most productive?
Yeah, probably when I'm sleeping. Just kidding. No, I think generally probably in the mid-morning or so, yeah.
Okay. Mid-morning.
Sort of waking up a little bit.
Okay. What interrupts you?
Mainly distractions. My phone being probably number one. Yeah, just everything that comes with your phone, a text, social media. Yeah, it's pretty distracting. So.
Okay. Are you rewarding yourself?
Yeah, I think so. And we're from a family of hard workers, but I think I work pretty hard, but then I also try to take time for myself by spending time with friends and family and getting out, being active with golf or the gym and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Do you have any old projects that you need to start again?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, some business ideas that either didn't start or started and then just let fizzle out. So, yeah, definitely some improvement there.
Okay. And if you had 2 hours to work on something, what would you do with that time?
I think, again, eliminating all those distractions. So I think the environment is really important for me. I think I'm inspired and most maybe creative and productive if I'm in a well-lit area, a well-lit room, if I have music going, I feel like that also kind of helps stimulate my mind. And then again, it's free of as many of the phone and, computer distractions as possible, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, those are good. And especially nowadays with distractions, I mean, how easy is it to start working on something and then you just look at your phone like, I just got to check the weather. And then 3 hours later, wait, what was I doing again? Like you don't even, time just fritters away. And especially Rudy here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's hard to be productive when you have this little bundle of love on your lap.
Makes you want to sleep all day. Yeah. I totally understand that one.
And yeah, I think at least for me, a certain time of day can be most productive. Some people, like I know Alex Hormozy was talking about when he wakes up, boom, he starts working. Mm-hmm. And I want to get to that point, but I know a lot of people can be kind of groggy when they wake up. Like
you especially.
What am I doing again? It's something that you have to work at often, I think, but obviously that's the end goal. Mm-hmm. I know for me, like if Saturday, Sunday when I'm not working, a lot of times, I'll try to get up which I'm also working at, not getting up later. Mm-hmm. I have stuff to do and I got to do them and I can't wait until noon to wake up. Mm-hmm. But getting up at a reasonable time and saying, all right, writing down on the list, this is the things I got to do today. Mm-hmm. I want to at least have 3 out of the 6 accomplished by noon. Yeah. Keep track of your progress just marginalize and make sure you're keeping track of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so like yesterday we were talking about different examples. We're preparing for this episode today and talking about the shed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess, when we talk about productivity, I think the impetus or the main reason why I think anybody should be productive is, to me, time is your most valuable asset, right? You'll never get it back. So I feel, I think I'm inspired to always stay active, right? And I look at some of these people who seem to accomplish 10 times as much or more than what the normal person does. A couple of the names that we were talking about yesterday with Arnold Schwarzenegger or Elon Musk, some of these people who, Arnold having been not only a governor, but world-class bodybuilder, actor. He basically has done it all, and same with Elon Musk running a million different companies. They have to operate in a way that utilizes or, it makes them most productive, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to accomplish all what they do. I think we talked about yesterday, just an example, a frame of mind to be in for anybody to kind of help them with this trying to be more productive is, imagine if you were given a task at the beginning of the day to build a shed, a shed for your backyard from scratch. So you don't have any materials, you have no plan, you have maybe no resources at your disposal, no tools, nothing, right? And if you had a full 24 hours to do that and your life depended on it, I'm pretty sure the activities that you would do would be very different than maybe just a normal task that you do in your normal day-to-day life, right? I think, if I was to approach that kind of task, I mean, obviously the planning aspect is really important. So, first figuring out, okay, the design of your shed, the dimensions, the materials required, the resources required. So maybe you're pulling in one or two friends or something like that. The tools that you need and all this kind of stuff. So I think you would really probably do a really good job of planning your day up front, right? And then just planning. Then not only that, but the time allocated to each activity, right? So you'd kind of really compartmentalize it. So that nobody is sitting with idle hands, no minutes are wasted, basically. And I think when I look at these kind of guys like Elon and Arnold and Amish, I know that they have at their disposal stuff that normal people don't have, right? I mean, they have private jets that they can fly and utilize, and that saves a lot of time. But
every resource manageable.
Yeah, they have it all. I mean, the maids and everything. So, but on a small level where we're at and where most people are at, I think, you can do certain activities throughout your day that kind of puts you in that mindset to be most productive. And it's, kind of like what I said before, it's a lot of planning, I think another thing is really important is like doing things concurrently. So, again, if you're building a shed with somebody, if you don't need two people working on the same activity, then you probably are going to have each person working independently on their own thing and then coming back to, combine whatever they were doing, right? So these kind of things really are helpful.
Yeah, and you mentioned about, how is somebody like Elon Musk or Arnold Schwarzenegger able to get so much done in one given day? Mm-hmm. And there's only one constant in that equation is 24 hours in a day. Mm-hmm. That's something that everybody has in common, but everything else is completely variable. Mm-hmm. So I would always look at people, and it doesn't have to be productivity, but it could be like we both like lifting weights. So we think, okay, how is somebody my age lifting more weight than me? Mm-hmm. There's so many variables that can go into that. And I think, okay, so if one person is doing this out there in the world, it is possible. Mm-hmm. And so one thing when I was looking up different ways to make money, there's, this is a scam, that's a scam. Well, if somebody is making money at it, it's not a scam. Mm-hmm. You just don't know enough about it and how to do it to make money. Mm-hmm. And so my whole philosophy is if somebody can do this, it's possible. Mm-hmm. I just don't know how. Mm-hmm. And so talking about productivity, you think, how is Elon Musk able to accomplish so much in that 24-hour span, so much more than I can? And of course, again, variables, there's a lot that goes into that. But you think, okay, so he has somebody to schedule his time. Well, I can do better at scheduling my own time. How can I make a better list, rubric, schedule, or whatever you want to call it, of the things I have to do in my day? Mm-hmm. And one thing that my dad our dad has always told us is you have to have a system. Mm-hmm. And I can remember him saying that back when we were kids, and that has always stuck with me because it's so true. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the best pieces of advice I ever heard from him, because I can't think of a single thing in life that has ever gone better without a system. Mm-hmm. You think our government, you may not like them, but our government runs the country on a system. Any kind of manufacturing runs on a system. Mm-hmm. Businesses have systems. Okay, we need to schedule this, schedule that. Everything has to have a system. And if you don't, you simply will not be as productive as you could be with a system. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about writing stuff down. Mm-hmm. that's another one. I heard a quote, Ali Abdal, I think is how you pronounce his name. He has a YouTube channel, which I would highly recommend you checking out. But he had a quote from somebody that said, brains are for ideas, not for remembering them. And I know that I can't remember anything. All day long, I'll be thinking about this podcast thing. Oh, I should do this. I should have this person. I should say this. Mm-hmm. And then within seconds, I'll forget what I said. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, especially for me, I know I can't remember anything. Mm-hmm. And so I'm lucky enough if I can get my phone out fast enough to type it down before I forget what I just thought about. And so, yeah, writing stuff down, having very organized lists, that's the most important part of being productive in whatever you do, whether it be business, fitness, scheduling, life.
One form of poverty and one cause of poverty is absence of a plan.
That's probably one of my things too. Again, as you get older, not that we're old or anything, but you enter adult life and then you start owning a house and you have responsibilities that you didn't have when you're younger. Your available time also just gets less and less and less, right? And I have found too that now living on my own for a couple of years has been, I've had to really kind of hunker down and focus on how to save my time, right? And I think you talked about here now just how important writing stuff down is. Just as an example that everybody can relate to, again, is if you're going to the grocery store, unless you planned it very well, you can be sure that when you get home, you're going to realize that you left toilet paper off your list, and now you're back to the store because you can't live without toilet paper for a couple of days. So what I have done, and to your point there, is like I'll be going throughout my day. And I'll have a thought, tinfoil. I need tinfoil because I got to package meat up and put it in the freezer or something on it tonight. So, I instantly open my AnyList app, which is amazing. This is not a sponsored video for AnyList or anything, but
if you want to sponsor us, we're free.
I love that app, but it's that's one of my productivity hacks. But it's a list that I keep for various lists. I have a grocery list. I have a to-do, task list essentially. I have like a cleaning list even, so I don't forget to clean certain parts of the house or the yard and this kind of thing. So, just having those at your disposal and using them has saved me just tremendous amount of time. I know then, I don't really have to run out multiple times to do the same task over and over. And then that compounds obviously, right? So you're saving a lot of time in the end.
Yeah. And, we're talking about being productive and we're being organized. And that's another topic I think about often too, is we were mentioning Elon Musk and Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're at the top of their game. And you think they are very respected people. I know everybody doesn't like them, but you can't deny the fact that they have their life in order. And that's being organized is such a huge part of being a successful person in whatever you do. And I think that's being organized, writing stuff down, having a system for keeping your life in order it's never a bad idea. It never is, and it never will be.
I plan each hour and I probably plan each minute. And yes, it leads to way higher productivity.
Like we were saying, you have to have a system. How is having a system a bad idea? And I've said, and I think every podcast up to this point, you can't overlook the small things. Mm-hmm. You can't overlook the simple everyday things, but a lot of people do. And I don't think anyone would disagree that writing stuff down on a list, having it on tangible paper is a bad idea. Mm-hmm. But everybody doesn't do it. I forget sometimes. As I need to practice more of what I preach. But yeah, I think, boy, I didn't write anything down today. I may have a list of chores I got to do. I got to edit this video after we finish. I got to do this. I got to do that. And I think, boy, I forgot to write that down. And it's like I said, such a simple thing. And how long does a list take?
I think some people get intimidated by the time it takes you to write stuff, which, I mean, I know maybe you're more old school, I guess, writing in notebooks and stuff. To me, I love the phone and everything that the capabilities the phone has, right? So that's why I like the AnyList. But yeah, it's, the little time it takes to set up stuff like this, that's back to the systems, right? If you can set these things up initially, like the AnyList app for groceries, or, where, again, all of your stuff is already listed in there and you only add to it, periodically over the months, right? But it saves you so much time. That's the key thing when being productive, I think.
And we were talking before about how a simple pleasure for us is writing on that list and crossing that part of the list out. And yeah, it takes one swipe of a pen to do it, but it's for
really
us
satisfying.
For us it's like, that's done. I did. Of course, in adult life compared to a child life, for a kid, all you want to do is go out and play. That's what brings you joy. For us, it's completing a task on a list and then being able to cross it out. Yeah. So, that's an incentive for us. We look forward to being able to say, all right, that's done. What's next? And that's done. What's next? And then we're done. And I mentioned in other episodes, I love learning about history, and I want to bring up something that kind of ties into the idea of incentives, and that was the Soviet Union. I know you don't really care about history that much, but
care about it, but I'm not as good with history as you are.
But it's so with the example I'm bringing up is the Soviet Union, and so for those of you that don't know, it was between 1922 to 1991, and that was a communist republic in the current day Russia, and 1922 to 1991 isn't really that long of a time for a civilization to last. And I think the reason for that is because of the communism, economic system. They basically are not rewarded for any work that they have done. So you can either be lazy or extremely hardworking, and you're going to get paid the same. So that begs the question: why would anyone work hard if it's not going to be rewarded? There's no incentive to do that. And so that eventually, with a couple other things, led to the collapse and dismemberment of the Soviet Union altogether. Notice how they're not around anymore. So I think that trait can apply to your everyday life. And you think, well, how can an entire civilization collapse relate to me personally? Incentives. If you don't give yourself an incentive to work hard, to get tasks done, why would you?
No.
Right? So, if they collapsed because there was no incentives to work harder and to make great products and to continue themselves as a civilization, if I don't have any incentives to get my chores done, why would I?
I like something you said there made me think, and I don't use these apps, but I have seen them, and I can't even say the name. I don't know the names of these apps, but I've seen some gamified productivity apps.
Yeah,
you might know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Where you you have tasks and stuff that I guess you have to do, but basically once you complete these tasks, you're getting, I don't know, coins, or basically you're growing your little character in some way by completing your own personal task, right? So you kind of have this idea of what you're talking about there.
Yeah, it's also interesting that we will spend so much time on a video game, and these games are being productive, they're growing your character, it's progress, you're working on this video game, but you're not doing it yourself. And you think it's the same task. Why am I procrastinating doing what I actually need to do by playing the video game? And you think Call of Duty, you play so many games and you try to level up your character to get better weapons or armor, perks, whatever, but you're spending hours of your day doing that when you could be using that to do something productive. And I know it's fun to play, but you got to think, okay, well, after 4 hours of playing Call of Duty, my life has changed nothing. I am no better than I was 4 hours ago. And once I realized that, I'm like, man, I got to stop playing these games, because how are you
rabbit hole.
How are you improving your life by playing a video game? You're not.
A lot of people are gonna they're gonna shit on us for that one. So,
Bummer.
Not a heavy, hardcore Call of Duty fans, which we were at one point.
Well,
I
were.
still support it. But
Yeah, were.
I just have no time as an
Keyword.
adult now. So I feel like,
Yeah. So that was a good episode.
yeah,
I want to thank you for coming on. And I just want to say, again, my goal here is to provide as many good resources and learning experiences for young people, because I think that there is a major void in that area of our society. And especially, and because of that, any of you watching, any of you that are listening to smart people, like I personally support Jordan Peterson. I think he's a fantastic source for just knowledge of any kind. Oh, Rudy woke up. I think because there are so many just weak and soft people out there, your ability to steamroll them by putting in just a little bit of effort and dedication is going up. Because I think the weaker and the softer that our society is getting, the easier it's going to be for people who want to work hard to be successful as they see fit. So just want to close with that and just say thank you for spending some time with me and talking
Thanks for
about
having
this
me.
and
Yeah.
helping you guys do whatever it is you want to do. So thank you.